So we are totally blessed to introduce a friend of mine. I got to meet him a few months ago, and we followed each other in social media and just really became an admirer, a follower. He's got several achievements that are extraordinary. His podcast, Thrive Time, get this, has been number one, not just once, but 6 times. And not in a category, in all categories. How many think that's cool? Thrive Time podcast, that's neat. He's the guy. One of his greatest accomplishments, though, is he is married to his wife, Vanessa, and they have a basketball team full of kids. 5. Yes, 5. He is also the former Small Business Association Entrepreneur of the Year in Oklahoma. I want you to give a loud, rousing, wake the whole hotel up welcome to our guest speaker, Clay Clark. Come on up, Clay.
All right. Check 1, check 2. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. And I brought a lot of accoutrements. I'm a needy person, so I brought a megaphone and a hat and a mug and a podium, and that's all I need. Okay. Does everybody have a handout? I passed out some handouts like it's a Bernie Sanders event or something. Everybody has a handout? You got a handout? Like it's a big old Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris event. Okay, here we go. So I put handouts out there for you. And I want to make sure that during today's talk that you leave here with 3 principles. And I have nothing to sell you. Mark asked if he could pay me to be here, and I said no. And then we want to sell the books at about the cost of the books. And so I'm here to share with you truth. And I know that truth is offensive most of the time. And so I thought I would start off by giving you some money. So if you guys stand up real quick, there should be money under somebody's seat. I think 2 seats. I am being serious. There is money underneath somebody's seat there. If we could just start off, if I give you money, maybe that allows you to put up with me more. We'll start off by giving some money. Do we have any money? There, we got you're a winner. Okay, somebody else. You maybe shove the person over next to you, steal their money. Okay, all right. Anybody else find some money? Okay, we should have some money. Okay, good, we got some money. Okay, great. Okay, a few people like me. Good deal. I'm glad you like me. Okay, so we're going to talk about today on our notes here is this idea is a PhD in OCD. OCD, the definition is obsessive compulsive disorder. It's a mental disorder in which a person feels the need to perform certain routines repeatedly or has certain thoughts repeatedly called obsessions. I encourage you to take notes. Think about this. An obsessive compulsive person would be called Michael Jordan. When you got bored playing basketball, that's all he cared about. An obsessive compulsive person would be Steve Jobs. When we got bored with computers, he kept obsessing. An obsessive compulsive person would be Nolan Bushnell, who we're going to interview on our show next week. He's the inventor of Atari, obsessed with video games, and he started Showbiz Pizza. All right? And a OCD would be Wolfgang Puck, who we've interviewed on our show. Wolfgang Puck is obsessed with food. Who's had Wolfgang Puck's soup? Wolfgang Puck. He's fairly obsessed with food. All right? So I want to encourage you today, because I want you to write this down somewhere on your notes here, is what are you going to obsess about? And I'm going to give you kind of a diagram. So what I want you to do is I want you to draw a pyramid, like a food pyramid, but I understand that a food pyramid is actually bad because we shouldn't be eating Lucky Charms for breakfast. But the point is, draw a pyramid or a triangle, okay? And I want you to sort the following 6 F's into the triangle. I know it's a lot, but it's a triangle. No circle, just a triangle, all right? And I want you to put the following F's in that triangle in order of importance. All right? So I'm gonna throw them out for you so you can write them down and figure out where they go. Which one's most important? Because the foundation's the most important. Faith. Faith, that's F number 1. Faith. Family. Fitness. Friendship. Fun. Faith, family, finances, fitness, friendship, fun. And I'm not here to judge you because clearly some people are more into fitness than I am, right? Some people are less into finances than I am. Some people are more into family than I am. Maybe people are less. But I'm just going to tell you my order that I put mine in, and then you can put yours in whatever order you want. For me, faith goes in first. Because at some point, I hope that I die first. My wife hopes that she goes first. But the point is, I've been married for almost 20 years to the same person. We have 5 kids. And if she got hit by a bus, That would be the sound of getting hit by a bus. You know, that wouldn't be a pleasant thought, but when my dad got Lou Gehrig's disease, it didn't at all rock my faith because I don't put the family first. My faith is first. Does that make sense to you? If you take my family away from me, it wouldn't rock my faith. When my dad got Lou Gehrig's disease, I drove to Atwoods and cried. That's where I cry, is at Atwoods. I go to the parking lot. If you ever see me at Atwoods, I'm crying in the parking lot. That's what I do. I send my kids in to buy chicken feed or something, and I sort it out there. But you got to figure what's most important. So for me, it's faith first, faith. Second, for me, is family. Third is finances, all right? Fourth, friendship for me. Next, fitness. And sixth, the least important thing, which is why I have so few friends and so many business partners, is fun. I don't really value fun. I don't get it. I watch movies, I tap my feet. You know, we go on vacation to a beach, and I sit there and go, can we go home, please? I wait to be done. I look at it, how many more minutes do we have to be at the beach? I love spending time with my wife working on projects, but I just don't really get fun too much. Can we be done now? But I love work. Work is easy for me. That's a fun thing for me. But again, I want you to think about it. Faith, family, finance, fitness, friendship, fun. And I want you to sort that in the triangle. Okay? Sort it. And it's just super important you write this stuff down because you're going to have to fight for it. Whatever you come up with, you're going to have to fight for it. You're going to have an OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, that your wife, in my case, is my wife. Not your wife, not somebody else's wife. I'm married to her, and about every 60 days, I'm going to make her crazy because I am really finicky. I have my own man cave, an endless series of idiosyncrasies. I don't do cabinets. Some of you, can anyone relate to this? You don't do cabinets? See, there it is. I'm alone up here. Okay, I can't do it because I want to know where everything's located and I want the labels out, which is why I do well in retail. I cannot do cabinets. My wife and I, we built out a man cave, and she found me outside burning the doors because I told the contractor I don't do doors and I don't do walls, and you put in doors, so I set them on fire. And to me, that was the rational move. Set the doors on fire, brand new doors. You might say, you're crazy. And that's probably true. But I'm obsessive that I am not going to have a certain atmosphere, a certain agenda, a certain way I live, right? But my wife and I, we worked it out. But I got my man cave. She has her she cave. That's how we do it. But we're going to stick together. The family's non-negotiable. Faith, non-negotiable. I do not care what the mayor of Tulsa says. I'm going to church. Screw King GT. Screw him. I don't care. And listen, I met with our state, and he's probably watching on social media. I met with our state's health director, and that dude's spooky. Spooky. Like, oh, wow. You know, you meet some people and you go, uh-oh, that's him. It's weird. It's like, I don't get it. I've met with Governor Stitt. I like him. He's all about go to church, you know? And if I have to hide from a virus for the rest of my life to prevent dying, I would rather be dead. Furthermore, when we know that someone should write this down, don't believe me, write this down, please, okay? Dr. Richard Bartlett, he's been on my podcast. And if you don't take the proactive approach, which you should, by the way, 3/4 of what you do should be proactive, like they're talking about. But if you don't, and you get the coronavirus, how many patients do you think Dr. Bartlett has treated without dying? He's up to 1,300 this morning. 1,300 patients have been treated with 0 deaths. Dr. Richard Bartlett, look him up. He's been on my show. I talked to President Trump's physician yesterday on my podcast. We're talking between those two guys, we're talking between Dr. Jim Meehan. Who knows Dr. Jim Meehan? 1,500 patients, no deaths. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like a pretty good score. 1,500 wins, no losses. I'm down. So I'm just not going to live in fear. I'm going to church. But what if you get the virus? I don't care. I do not care. That's how I started my business. Do you know that Inc. magazine says 96% of businesses fail within 10 years? Then don't believe me. Write that down. Look it up. Everything I tell you, don't believe me. Look it up. Inc. magazine said 96% of businesses fail within 10 years. So why have I been able to build 13 of them? Well, I'm obviously not that smart. I took algebra 3 times. I'm not that good looking. Maybe it's because I don't do cabinets. Maybe it's because I get to work at 3:30 every morning, Maybe it's because I hate breaks. Maybe because I read all the time. Maybe, I don't know. But the point is, everyone said in college, you shouldn't start a business because it's too risky. But it's not, to me, it's too risky to not. I grew up poor. That's where you don't have money. That's where all of the boxes in your refrigerator, in your cupboard are yellow. And you go, apparently this family likes the color yellow. No, it's because it's the generic brand. You know what I mean? It's like Cheerios, and then there's the big bag. It's like an 8-pound bag of cereal, right? And people say, do you know you're poor? Well, when we added water to milk and stirred it, I had a clue. When my dad was an Oral Roberts University graduate, and he was doing anything he could do to take care of us, I was appreciative for my dad's work. But when your dad, I'm 39, when my dad was 36, he was delivering pizzas, to make ends meet. And I appreciate that. My dad worked at Quick Trip gas station, nothing wrong with that. But did I know I didn't have money? Yes. And so I just decided I'm going to lock in OCD, and I'm going to be successful. So I built the nation's largest wedding entertainment company out of my dorm room. And before I sold it, we were doing about 4,000 weddings a year, because I obsessed on my 6 things. Are you feeling what I'm saying? Are you feeling me like a petting zoo? Are you feeling me? It is so important. It's so important. Somebody needs to grasp this idea. If people don't say, what is your deal? If people don't say, you're so anal, then you're not good at anything. You got to be anal about something. This guy's into anal. No, I'm not into anal. The point is, you got to focus on something. Do you not? Right? I have no life balance. I'm here with you right now, mentally and physically. I am not anywhere else. I turned down stuff to be here because this was important, because you are important people, and Mark is an important person. His wife's an incredible person. These two are incredible people. And they said, would you come speak? And I was honored that they asked me, and I said yes. But I made a choice. What else could I be doing? Right? I could be doing something else. But I made that choice. So we need to figure out our goals for our faith, our family, our finances, our fitness, our friendship, and our fun. When you make a goal, you say, fitness is important. I ask you as a follow-up question on this OCD conversation, when? So next to the word faith, I want you to write, when specifically will you practice your faith? This morning I was reading Ephesians out loud, the King James Version, to myself, and I'm just now starting to get it. Apparently, God, Jesus died. He goes up to heaven, right? And he's seated at the right hand of God. And it says, apparently, in there, we have authority. He gave the church, the body, authority over Satan, and there's power in his name. That's what I understand on that 14th time I've read that. Pastor Bill Shear tells me about it, and I go, I don't get it. I have to go watch it again, look at it again. But when are you going to practice your faith? Are you getting what I'm saying? When? And then your faith, then the family. I have to leave at 8:45 tomorrow morning to get to Guts on time because I like to sit in the front row because I have to sit in the front row. If I sit in the second row, I don't want to be at church. Seriously. I have to sit in the front row, and we have 5 kids, and then everybody I know goes there now, and so we have to have it's like our section. There's like 35 of us. We're all there. It's like we're all right there. We're all these entrepreneur people who go to church. It's crazy. We go, and despite a pandemic, we're all there. But if I can't sit up, I got to leave at 8:45. So that's in my calendar. Now, tomorrow morning, I got to wake up at 3:30 in the morning. Why? Because I got to meet somebody at 4. Why? Because I said I would. So you got to figure it out. Your faith, when are you going to do it? Your family. My wife does not allow me to work after 6. Boo. No, listen. My wife says, hey, we have 5 kids, perhaps you should know them. Oh, this is incredible information. Wow. Because how many of you like business? Honestly, how many of you like business? How many of you like beaches? It's called a flow state. It's when you're doing something so well, you're so engaged, you lose track of space and time. A flow state, look it up. It's a psychological condition. I like it. OCD. I could work. My wife will come downstairs and she'll go, you have literally been recording a 7-hour show with John Lee Dumas, the Entrepreneurs on Fire guy. And I'm like, I know, it's awesome. How could you possibly talk about a man for 7 hours? But I just get into it. When I'm interviewing John Maxwell, I could do this for hours. It's fun. How many of you have something you do that's just fun? It's easy for you. But the stuff that we want to do that we don't have time to do, we got to schedule it. So faith, when are we going to do it? Faith, family, finances. When are we going to look at our account? I mean, my wife comes in, she handles all the accounting, and that's great. I used to have to do that, and I'm so glad she does it. She comes in, she says terrible stuff. She'll say things like, we have to write a check to the IRS for $45,000. And I'm going, she hates people. She hates people. Because I perceive, how many of you do the finances for your family? How many of you don't? Don't you perceive the person who makes you pay your fair share of taxes as like a demon force? She says, hey, we need to write a check for $45,000. And what I hear is, I'm going to take all your money and give it to Bernie Sanders because I hate you. I'm like, what is her deal? It's like, you know what I'm saying, though? So faith, family, finances, I got to look at it, right? When are you going to do it? Someone should write that down. Because if you're not looking at your bank account, I promise what you focus on expands except for your waistline. You feel me? So the point is you have to look at your bank statements. Do you not? How many of you looked at your bank statement and thought, oh, no, uh-oh. And you looked at it because you went to Target and you, whoop, and it didn't go through, and you go, uh-oh. And then you look at it and then you realize you've been paying for that website that's the Ancestry.com for 3 consecutive years, and all you wanted to do was to find out if you were related to that actor, right? How many of you have run into that? You got to look at that stuff, right? So faith, family, finances, fitness. How many of you, fitness is exciting to you? How many of you, fitness, you go and you say, could he work out for me? How many of you get the workout shoes, you get the yoga pants, you're ready to get the compression sleeves, you're ready to go. And then when you get there, you're like, frick, I'm going to have to work out. And you leave. You've gone to the sauna, you have different moves you do, you start up a conversation, you're like, that looks like Carl. And you know you don't know that person, but you're like, hey, I think I know you. No, you don't. And you want to talk, and then you leave and you come home just moderately sweaty so you can kind of lie to yourself that you got to work out in. Are you feeling what I'm saying? Somebody here, we got to figure out our goals for our faith, our family, our finances, our fitness, our friendship. Someone should write this down. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Who's into that book called Proverbs? Proverbs. It's a book in favor of wise action, Proverbs. Okay, so it says, he who walks with the wise shall become wise, and who hangs out with fools shall suffer harm. You feeling me? Right? So this is a deep thought. Someone should write this down. Why did Bill Gates hang out with Epstein until 2017 all the time? I don't know. If you have $1 billion, couldn't you hang out with anybody? No, I picked the world's most prolific pedophile. That's who I'm going to hang out with. Why does our conservative mayor, G.T. Bynum, hang out with Bloomberg and Gavin Newsom? You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Are you feeling what I'm saying? So we got to make sure faith, family, finances, fitness, friendship, and fun. Got to schedule time for fun. Some of you, how many like fun? Are you into fun? You into fun? Great, that you're normal. That's great. How many of you like to work? You work, it's awesome. It's like your thing. Okay, but we got to schedule time because what we schedule time for happens. So for me, I want to talk today about being pig-headed discipline, PhD, pig-headed discipline about your OCDs, pig-headed discipline, pig-headed discipline, all right? And I've got 3 concepts to go over with you. 1, all right, OCD. Our rights are given to us by God, not by men. Let's repeat that one more time. Our rights are given to us by God and not by men. One more time, because we're going to create it's a neural pathway. If we say it enough, pretty soon it becomes easy to say. We say, and we can look down here, it's all written down for you. It says, our rights are given to us by God, not by men. Someone should write that down. I don't need your rights to go outside to open my business to not. I didn't shut down my business for 1 day. Did you worry about spreading? No. Don't come to my business then. I promise I won't visit you if you want to quarantine. Excuse me, are you elderly with comorbidities? Well, yes, I am. I have comorbidities. Are you isolating, sir? Yes, I am. I would like to come violate your quarantine to spread the virus. What the crap was that? Think about this idea. If we know that elderly people with comorbidities are at risk of the virus, why can't they quarantine? I promise I won't visit them. I've never thought, you know what I should do? I should visit the nursing home and spread a virus. It's such an asinine idea. An asinine idea. An idea that doesn't make any sense. But because it's on Channel 8, it must be true. Let me do Channel 8 for you. Tonight on Channel 8, somebody got killed. Encouraging. Tonight on Channel 8, weather's bad somewhere. Tonight on Channel 8, Black Lives Matter, which is funded by Antifa, freaked out. We know these people live with their mothers. We know. They don't have a job. What kind of person goes out during the day and burns people's businesses? Morons. It should be tonight on the news. Morons went outside, and we're not going to talk about it. But instead, we ingest fear all day, and then we start to go, well, because I've watched a steady diet of fear, it probably makes sense to stay shut down. And by the way, the fact that G.T. Bynum chooses to hang out with Bloomberg probably doesn't at all impact his decisions. And the fact that Bill Gates hangs out with Jeffrey Epstein probably doesn't impact his thoughts at all. Look it up. They were best friends until 2017. Bill Gates. Not good. What would you think about me if he said, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker, he hangs out with prolific pedophiles. Get him out of here. No, let's take his vaccine. That makes sense. What? Okay, so we read here. Notable quotable. The Declaration of Independence, which means you're independent, by the way, okay, says, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. So let's go over the org chart. You get your power from, you get your freedom from God, and then you hire the government with your tax dollars. You feel me? The org chart? Government works for you. Are you getting this idea? Are we getting this idea? Is this a foreign idea? Have we been to too much public school? Has public school brainwashed us? Public school, we need more money. And we still suck? Okay. That's the little jingle I'm working on. Tulsa public schools, we need more money, and we still suck. Okay. C, so OCD. C, choose a side. Tonight, choose a side. Leave here and say, I hate you. But make sure you complain online, not to my face, because that's how we deal with things in America. You leave a bad review, but you don't say it to someone's face. I'm here to say, I don't care. I'll be dead soon. So here we go. C, choose a side. I'm going to read you some controversial ideas. Thomas Jefferson said, all tyranny needs to gain a foothold is for people of good conscience to remain silent. For you to let the lady at the grocery store pressure you into conforming to her jackassery. 6 feet apart, and make sure when you get down low at your restaurant, the virus, it's a tall virus, so when you're sitting down, you can take the mask off because you can duck it. Got it? No, Bobby, duck down. It's a tall virus. 6 feet apart. 6 feet, 6.2, no, 5.4, no. Oh my God, it's dangerous, duck. Jackasses, mayors, the same thing. The mayor of Broken Arrow's my client, so he didn't shut down. His head has been pulled out of his rectum. It's a medical, amazing thing. He was able to right out. Awesome. Okay, so next notable quotable. Matthew 10:32-37. Someone should take some notes on this. Says, whosoever there shall confess me before men, him I will confess also before my Father, which is in heaven. But whoever shall deny me before men, him I also deny before my Father, which is in heaven. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at the variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's foes shall be in their own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. What does that mean? Faith comes first. So, if you've got a pro-shutdown cousin, it's okay to tell him, pro-shutdown cousin, it's called communism, you're wrong. And he's like, well, I'll never talk to you again. You say, that's cool. Probably won't see you in heaven, it's cool. Because it's all about fighting for your faith if that's important to you. Now let's take it down a notch. Let's say you're going to the gym. You're going to the gym, and you really OCD, you care about working out. How many of you have tried to start working out, and then you get a phone call that's not a good call? It's your day. You're like, you're all in. Or how many of you wanted to start a business and then somebody interrupted you? You got that? It's like, so we set our goals, you're going to immediately encounter adversity. As soon as you have a goal, you're going to have adversity. Okay, so let me just give you a little sweet success story about Elephant in the Room Men's Grooming Lounge. We open up our haircut chain. Week number 1, a guy comes in. His name's Jacob Shaspansky. He's talking to our stylist. Our stylist is talking to him. Mr. Great Clips, you'll enjoy this. We were using shears, right? So they're talking. All of a sudden, a dangler. His earlobe is hanging like this, and it's a bleeder. Folks, we got a bleeder. We got a bleeder here. Bleeder. And I knew he was bleeding because I was upstairs, and I hear, ah! I come downstairs. I'm like, there's a little bit of splatter here. Could we keep the splatter down? I mean, it was crazy. Anybody here cut your ear or your head pretty good? I mean, it's a bleeder. And so we started with that. That was good. He didn't sue us. We fixed his ear. I felt good about it. Then, true story, the city turned off our water because apparently one of the landlord guys hadn't paid his bill. So I had to take my brother-in-law and hang him upside down by his feet in a manhole. We went to Lowe's, and you can, this is how you steal water, folks. You should write this down. It's a pro tip for stealing water. The water's turned off, and he's hanging in the middle of the road, 16th and Boston. He's upside down. True story. Then one of our employees one day, I noticed he had a handgun in the break room. And I'm like, wow, that's a pretty impressive little weapon. Look him up, find out our first few employees are felons. It was a great entrance into the business. And then I found out that if I charged the price we started out with, we could never be profitable, but we would be very busy. So it took about 1.5 years to break even. Now it does very well. But I'm just saying that's how starting a business is. Who here started a business before? Is it not adversity? Oh, yeah. Once you build that great team, you get the one guy who violates the non-compete. Oh, that guy. Oh, and then you go back to church and you pray for him, and then you think things are going well. Thursday, something bad happens. How many of you own a business? You know this. Thursday, things are going good. Then you get that tax bill and you're like, got to go back to church. And you're in that cycle. Who knows that? Adversity. Adversity day. Okay, great. So, notable quotable. Blessed are they which are persecuted for their righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Someone should write that down. That's Matthew 5:10. Think about that. Blessed are those who are persecuted for their righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Remember land of the free, home of the brave? Now it's land of the restricted, home of the safe. What? Land of the free, home of the brave, land of the not so free, and we're afraid all the time? Because Chris Cuomo told you? Have you guys watched Chris Cuomo? Unbelievable, Chris Cuomo. I love Chris Cuomo. Thank you, Chris Cuomo. I mean, we got to eventually stop digesting all this fear, do we not? I mean, at a certain point, do you not have to? I encourage you to look up Dr. Bartlett, by the way. 1,300 people treated, no deaths. That's a pretty low percentage. And mostly elderly people, because people don't come to him until they're really bad. And this was the former top advisor to the governor of Texas for 7 consecutive years, Dr. Richard Bartlett. If you do what these guys are telling you, you're not going to need to go see a guy like that. But 1,300, that's a pretty low number. Have you seen that? Okay. Did you see how many of you saw where the U.S. military accidentally said 600,000 people had COVID, then they said, oops, we didn't mean that? Who saw that? 600,000? How about this? The guy that made the models, Neil Ferguson, someone should look that up. Neil Ferguson, I put a little handout there for you. Neil Ferguson, the guy who made the models, he said 2.2 million Americans might die. And then he came back later and Dr. Burke said, we meant a lot less. But I have a good scarf, right? And since you elected me, just listen to me. I'm the scarf queen. And then Fauci says, you shouldn't wear a mask. You should not wear them. He's like this tall, by the way. He's always, Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci, could you stand up, sir? What was that? Trump? Could you stand up? I am standing up. Get this guy a high chair. Okay, get him a beautiful high chair. Beautiful high chair. Here's Dr. You shouldn't wear a mask. Who saw that on 60 Minutes? You should wear. They say, sir, are you sure? Oh, I'm sure, yeah. But you should wear a mask. You should. What changed? 2 weeks. You should wear. I hang out with Bill Gates, who hangs out with Epstein. We're a team pedophile. Yeah. If you hang out with a pedophile, what does it make you? Just throwing it out. I'm just throwing it out. Look it up. It's a New York Times. They're best friends, good buddies. Bill Gates, Epstein. Who's seen this? Oh yeah. So we should shut down the border. We shouldn't shut down the border. We should never shake hands again. So I can grow up to be an ass clown like you? Is that what we do? Is that your plan? Okay, Dr. Fauci, thank you. All right, so we move on to point 3. So, our rights are given to us by who? C, choose a side. Some of you, I'm telling you, Gavin Newsom says he doesn't want home fellowship either. Now, I have cousins that live in California. You can still smoke pot in California. Who knows this? Bro, the dispensaries are still open, bro. Awesome, bro. We were going to go to church, but instead we went to the dispensary. Now we're all confused, but we can still go. And the liquor stores are open, and the abortion clinics are open. Bro, we could have a magical day in San Diego. We could smoke pot, we could go to the liquor store, and get an abortion. Awesome. Who's had that thought? You can still get those things? Who's seen this? Who's aware of this? But going to church is the most dangerous thing ever, because you know people at church tend to burn things. I mean, I know Baptist churches. I've been to Baptist churches. Who grew up in a Baptist church or a Lutheran church in Minnesota? I went and they say things like, today we shall be honoring the Lord with, and I'm just in the back row sleeping. But then occasionally they would just burn things to freak us out, you know? No, they wouldn't. So have you noticed that? You can go riot, but you can't go to church. Have you seen these things? Okay, interesting. Point 3, do. Don't just talk about it. Be a doer, not just a hearer of these words. Remember Yoda? Do, just do. No try, just do. No. Remember that? And Luke's like, calm down, little green friend. No, just do. You remember that? You remember that? No, you didn't remember that. Fine. If you don't know who Yoda is, the whole thing didn't work. Okay, the point is, you got to be a doer. What does that mean specifically? I'm going to give you some action steps. 1, this man and woman have the ability to help you proactively protect yourself from the coronavirus. Take action, please. Please take action. Please don't go on Facebook and tell me I'm a bad person for opening my business and employing people. But if you want to, it's cool, because we don't have to like each other, okay? It's in Matthew, okay? But be proactive. Don't just consume information. Be an action. Are we getting this idea? If you want to start a business, start a business. I encourage you to. It's great, and it's terrible at the same time. It's like, who knows that? It's awesome and terrible at the same time. It's a weird emotional paradox, okay? So, don't just talk about it. Proverbs 10:4 says, lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Lazy hands make for poverty, right? So the idea of staying home and collecting the checks, probably not a thing. You know, I don't know. Deep thoughts. Point 2, notable quotable, says, 2 Thessalonians 3:10-12. For even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat. What do you think Moses would have done back in the day? An agricultural society. Moses, think about this. Work with me. Moses. How many of you remember the Pilgrims? How many of you are here? Awesome. We're both here. It's so great. So great. All right, so we're here. Now, imagine back in the day there was a pandemic, right? When we're growing corn. Because in agricultural society, you had to grow what you eat, right? Who knows this? So I'm like, well, guys, we're going to take 2 weeks off to stop the spread. But okay, because you'll have kind of the European guy. He kind of sounded European, you know, because he's immigrant. He's like, but if we don't grow any corn, won't we die? No, we're going to print money because we can, because the Federal Reserve. It's not federal and there's no reserve, but we can just print money. But if we don't grow corn, won't we die? No, we can just keep printing money, you know, right? What a jackass idea that we should get paid and not work. What? I mean, what would happen in 1820, 1750? What would happen? But aren't we going to die? No, you don't plant the corn because it's a pandemic and you might die, so we're going to all die by letting our businesses die. Oh, it makes a lot of sense because you're about this tall and your name's Dr. Fauci. I get it. This all makes sense. Oh, where's Chris Cuomo? Is Chris Cuomo echoing you? Oh, Chris Cuomo. And Joy Behar. Joy Behar, she's so smart, isn't she? Oh, I wonder what the celebrities say. Oh, interesting. All the pedophiles agree with you. This is great. Oh, this makes sense. It does make sense. Trust the celebrities. They're doing nude infomercials right now for Joe Biden. It makes sense. Okay, we won't plant the corn. What? You don't work, you don't eat. Okay, next. Point 3. All labor there is profit, but all talk of the lips tendeth only to What's that word? We'll just skip that word. Basically, if you don't work, you don't eat. Does the idea, they keep saying it different ways, do they not? Okay, we move on. You get the idea. I think we get the idea. So what are we to do with today's talk? Well, one, you got to immediately complain on Facebook and then tell Mark it was bad. And he'll be like, I'm sorry. But no, seriously, we have to take action. And I could not be more passionate about anything. I told my wife this when the Thunder game was shut down. I don't even like the Thunder, but I was like, there's something weird going on. Since then, my journey, we got invited to the White House. We've had the White House Deputy Press Secretary on our show. We're advising governors and lieutenants. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, we have county commissioners calling me going, are you saying the models are wrong? I'm a former DJ, and I'm advising these people. Why? Because... do you understand that they shut down states without looking at the models? Do you know this? Do you know this? That's crazy. Every time I ask them, did you look at the models? Every one of them says no. Trust the experts, don't plant the corn. Okay, makes all sense. I get it. So, let's talk about it. So, your goals. Let's make sure we end on a high note here. Let's figure out your goals for your faith, your family, your finances, your fitness, your friendship, and your fun. Let's do that. Let's have conversations in the car. Hey, honey, do you like me? I ask my wife that question once a week. What can I do better? And she's like, well, here's a list. You know? But I'm serious. You got to ask. And so she has rules like you can't work after 6. Got to take Sunday off. That's in the Bible. Hey, Saturday, stop working at 1 or 2. There's moves. There's rules. She said you can't do more than 9 speaking events in a month. We did one month where we had 12 speaking events in 1 month. She's like, it's great that you went to Canada and California. We did that, but you didn't see your kids, you jerk. You know, that kind of thing. So it's important we recalibrate, is it not? Make your goals for your faith, your family, right? Your finances, your fitness, your friendship, and your fun. That's idea number 1, okay? And you got to be pig-headed about that stuff. You got to have an obsessive, compulsive belief that your life matters, right? You do. You've got to have that mindset, all right? We got to take action. And then we got to understand that our rights are given to us from God. In the event that I became your governor, which I would never do because I'd get like 7% of the vote. But if I was governor and I said, you probably should shut the state down to stop the spread, you just go, I'm not sure if you're aware. We don't care. Oh, okay. Okay. It's always fun going into stores. You need to do this. You need to stand this far apart. And I say, no. And they go, okay, we'll go. Well, fine now. It's usually whoever's the loudest. So if you say, no, and you yell at them and freak out, then they really bad. Okay, fine. Just buy your avocados and leave. Just get your avocados and leave, please. Okay. Now, choose a side. You got to choose a side today, right now. Choose a side. Are you going to be a hearer of the word and go, you know what, I could probably protect myself from a virus that is treatable? Or you go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to get information. It's like TED Talks. We're just watching movies and documentaries, and we kind of know a little bit about the Civil War, and we know a lot about Mesopotamia because we watched a great series last night. The pandemic has set us off on a documentary cycle. Netflix just queued the next one. 7 hours later, we're still watching. But we got to do something, don't we? We got to do something. We got to take action. And then the third is don't just talk about it, though. Don't just talk about it. We got to do stuff, okay? And when you do stuff, when you say, my family, as for me and my family, we're going to go to church, it's going to irritate somebody. When you say, I'm going to start a business, it's going to bother somebody. When you say, I'm going to go work out at this time, it's going to bother somebody.